Hello guys, welcome to Platonics. My name is Sentino. I'm here to give an introduction of DHCP Server. DHCP Server is dynamic host configuration protocol that gives automatic IP address to clients who request for them. So you agree with me that for electronic devices to communicate, we need IP address. And this IP address, previously, we used to assign them manually, and that's what we call it static IP address. But with time, they came up with the DHCP server, that is assigning the IP address automatically. How does this assigning IP address automatically come about? So this is the introduction that I'm going to give you today. I believe after this lesson, you come to agree with me that this one has really minimized, has really helped in IT administration. So how does this DHCP server work? Okay, this DHCP server works using the Dora process. What is Dora process? So I'm going to write the Dora process. It's an abbreviation, so you come to know the DHCP server using this Dora process. Okay. Hope I believe you are able to see my handwriting on this board. The Dora process is just abbreviated into these ways. The D means discover, O means offer, and R means request, A means acknowledgement. How this DHCP server works is that we have the server and we have the client computer. So the client would like to access the IP address on the internet. So it's this DHCP server that will help to give the client IP address automatically by working using this Dora process. Okay, this is a block diagram of the Dora process that is used to explain all the details about the DHCP server and the DHCP client. So in this block diagram, that's a very simple way to understand how the DHCP server works with the DHCP client. So as I said, the DHCP client has to ask for the IP address from the DHCP server. At first, the client computer will have to send a discover message to the DHCP server. The DHCP server will have to give an offer, that is a scope of IP addresses to the client. And the client has to send a request saying that, okay, I choose this IP address among the IP addresses that it was given. And now, at last, the DHCP server has to send an acknowledgement saying yes or no according to this IP address. So that's how the DHCP server gives the IP address to the client. So, as a network administrator, you need to configure scope. So, before you configure scope, let me just try to introduce what scope is. Scope is the range of IP address that is to be raised to clients. So, these clients would like to access the IP address from this DHCP server. So, the DHCP server should have a range of IP addresses. So, as a network administrator, you need to give these configurations of the scope configuration. So, for example, I'll give you the range of IP addresses for the scope. C address 198.168.0 168.168.10. This can be our scope of our IP addresses. That means our clients can access from .0 IP addresses to .100. It means the host can be at least about 100 hosts. It means if someone, 101 client, would like to access the IP address, the DHCP server cannot give the IP address because it's out of the range of IP addresses are given. But there's one advantage of DHCP server over this. It dynamically gives the IP addresses to the clients. That means the IP addresses are leased for a specific period of time. That is, for example, one client may be leased to 1 day or some hours or some weeks. That means after the client using the IP address, he may leave the IP address so that when another client comes in the network and would like to access the IP address, it means the DNS server can give the IP address that is free. So that is one advantage of using the dynamic host configuration protocol. You may switch users. As far as one user is out of the IP address, the other one who comes in can use the IP address, which is just free. Apart from this, there's another configuration that a network administrator can do. That is creating reservations. What are reservations? These are specific IP addresses that are installed to some particular clients. For example, the DHCP server can give configurations to DNS server, can give the IP of DNS server. The DNS server will have a permanent IP address. This IP address cannot be given to any other client who would like to access the IP address. So within this range from 0 to 100, there will be some specific IP addresses which will be given to some servers. For example, the DNS server. So when the DNS server is given IP address, for example, 198.168.10.1, that means the .1 IP address is specific to the DNS server. Any client who would like to access that IP address, the DNS server will not give him because the IP address is already allocated for the DNS server. The DNS server and the DHCP server sometimes works together, but these are separate servers which are installed in our different systems. They tend to work together, but they are separate. And apart from this, there are some other reservations, there are some other specific IP addresses which are assigned to some services which we no longer need as clients to acquire them. They are specific, they are manually created to serve a certain purpose. So when you like to access some IP addresses, you go for the DHCP server. Only give the IP addresses which are free. Okay. After giving the scope, after configuring the scope to the server, now we may look at the problems that are associated with the DHCP server. One of the problems that's associated with the DHCP server is the conflict that happens when one IP address is given to two clients. For example, this client is given an IP address which is exactly the same with the IP address of this one. Now, how does the DHCP server solve this problem? Okay, one way of the DHCP server solve this problem is to check the connectivity between the IP address between the server and the IP address. How does it check? It sends the ping program. The ping program. Ping program. Ping program is there to check the availability of the IP address to the host. So if the pinging happens, that means the IP address has been settled to the client. But if there is no pinging, that shows that the address is not given to the what? Is not given to the host. At the same time, the client also checks the conflicts. How does the client check the conflict between of IP addresses? The client has to send an ARP broadcast to the internet. Since we have several clients which are connected to the internet, each client will send the ARP broadcast to the internet. Since we know that we know that each client should have its own IP address. And if two clients have the same IP address, The moment it sends the AIP address, this AIP broadcast will contain the same message. As far as they go to the internet, there will be collision of information from the two clients. Hence, the DHCP server will detect that there's a problem of IP addresses, and the client has to remove the IP address from its port. So that's how the DHCP server solves the conflict. But we have to bear in mind that as an IT administrator, you need to work hand in hand with this DHCP server. Sometimes, in case of these problems, you need to check before assigning the IP addresses to the host. You need to check if at all two IP addresses are given. One IP addresses are given to the two clients. Yeah, that is all about this. All right. This is a brief introduction of DHCP server. It's a very, very simple concept to understand. Just to go through it, there are very few aspects that you need to consider when you want to know about the DHCP server. One of it is when you like to communicate two electronic devices, what you need is the IP address. And this IP address can be assigned to the PC or any host by static or dynamic way. Static is an odd way of assigning IP address. That is, each and every PC has to be manually assigned the IP addresses, while the dynamic way, for example, the DHCP, you automatically assign the IP address whenever the client would like to assign its IP address to the internet addresses. Apart from that, you need also to know about reservation. What is reservation? Reservation is giving specific IP addresses to some services that are needed in the internet. For example, the DNS server. This is another service that is found in the internet. It is very important. It gives the name to the IP address and the IP address to the name. They work hand in hand, though they are separate services. So this is just an example of a reservation that is required. This is Sentinel giving the introductory part of DHCP server. Thank you for watching the video. And if you like the video, just subscribe to